At what point would you get in if you did?
Well, I think there's time. I've never been afraid to show up a little late for the dance.
But lots of people want to be president. What would you specifically bring that others aren't?
Well, I think I have a long and very solid...
This is so boring. The right's always so boring. The banality of fascism sometimes, right? You know, like it's all just lulls. It's like, oh, what? People are getting triggered by our sketch. It was a routine. He's playing a character. Frank Underwood, you know, well, technically for legal purposes, it's not Frank Underwood, but it's a similar character, not from House of Cards or owned by Netflix, but one being played by Kevin Spacey. And then we're using it to talk about culture war issues. Yeah, like trolls and Bud Light. Spacey, when he was accused of multiple instances of pedophilia as well as rape, he was kicked off of the very hit TV show House of Cards on Netflix. Netflix ended up killing off his character, and Kevin Spacey said, oh no, you don't do that. And then once a year on Christmas Eve would release these weird cryptic videos on his YouTube, and that's all he's been using his YouTube for, I think, since this started. Oh no, there's this? Yeah, okay. Just to release these weird, again, creepy ass Christmas videos in character. Like he plays this character from House. Well, I mean, he's, for legal purposes, is just him playing any random character. It doesn't necessarily have to be his character from House of Cards, but he did call it "Let Me Be Frank." The character's name is Frank Underwood.
I know what you want. Oh, sure, they may have tried to separate us, but what we have is too strong, it's too powerful. I mean, after all, we shared everything, you and I. I told you my deepest, darkest secrets. I showed you exactly what people are capable of. I shocked you with my honesty, but mostly...
Now, if you're extra weirded out because you don't watch House of Cards, I'll explain it. Basically, his character, Frank Underwood, is a politician who breaks the fourth wall, which is a narrative technique in which you acknowledge the audience and that you are actually within a movie, play, or TV show, book. It doesn't matter what the medium is. And then he does that in the show. And that's kind of what made the show a little bit interesting, is every now and then you'd see all these politicians doing terrible things, and then he'd turn to the camera and then speak to you, the viewer, in first person kind of thing, being like, oh, what do you think about what I just said? Terrible, isn't it? Yes, I agree. Immigrants are bad. That's kind of the whole show. And then after, again, being accused of pedophilia and rape, he then decided to do this, which just takes everything to bizarre, strange heights, where he is playing a character who's also speaking a little bit to the situation that's happening to Kevin Spacey in real time, you know?
I challenged you and made you think. And you trusted me, even though you knew you shouldn't. So we're not done, no matter what anyone says. And besides...
Well, yeah, that was his initial response to the accusations, was to say, by the way, I'm coming out. I happen to be a homosexual and stuff like that. I've got some news articles to show all of you about the accusations, because I'm sure people will be rushing right now to tell me, oh, actually, he's got Kevin Spacey in one the court trials has actually been acquitted. He was found not guilty. So checkmate, Lance. And I'm not sure if you know that a lot of the people who were accusing Kevin Spacey are dead now. I don't know if you know that part, which also makes this very bizarre, weird, and creepy to new heights, because, like, his character, Frank Underwood, you could say the character, not Kevin Spacey, but the character could be seen to want to eliminate potential, I don't know, accusers, and make sure they can't testify in court. That's something Frank Underwood would certainly, not Kevin Spacey, the character. But again, it's weird because he's blurring those lines between what exactly is the character and what exactly is Kevin Spacey.
I know what...
And by the way, I say this as a previously monstrously huge Kevin Spacey fan. I was a big old fan of Kevin Spacey. Really, really enjoyed him all the way from, I think Seven was the first time I ever saw him in anything. Thought he was excellent in that. Loved him in Usual Suspects. I actually enjoyed House of Cards. Thought it was interesting. Like, I was very, very shocked to learn how horrifying a lot of the accusations against Kevin Spacey were.
What you want me back. Of course, some believed everything and had just been waiting with bated breath to hear me confess it all. They're just dying to have me declare that everything said is true and that I got what I deserved. Wouldn't that be easy if it was all so simple? Only you and I both know it's never that simple, not in politics and not in life. But you wouldn't believe the worst without evidence, would you? You wouldn't rush to judgments without facts, would you? Did you? No, not you. You're smarter than that. Anyway, all this presumption made for such an
No, he didn't make this recently. He made this after the, what you want to call it, quote unquote cancellation, when he was dropped from the show. And so everyone was like, that's weird. That was 5 years ago. And he did that whole thing. But then he just started turning it into a Christmas tradition. Like the year after, he did it again.
You didn't really think I was going to miss the opportunity to wish you a Merry Christmas, did you? It's been a pretty good year, and I'm grateful to have my health back. And in light of that, I've made some changes in my life, and I'd like to invite you to join me. As we walk into 2020, I want to cast my vote for more good in this world.
Too late. Is there anyone in this country of 350 million people who could jump in at this late date and re-scramble the calculus of electoral politics? Well, there may be someone, and in fact, you already know him. You know his face. And the question is, will he get in this cycle? And that's my question for you.
Well, that's really a decision for the people, Tucker. It's not something that I really think about or want to do. And Merry Christmas to you, too. But I've always believed that nothing.
This is so weird. It's so weird. Like, I saw Sam Cedar do a, like, this is a new low, and I was like, for who, though? Who's sinking lower in this relationship? I can't figure that one out, right? Between the two of them. I mean, we do have Tucker Carlson, previously one of the most popular, no, he was the most popular late night news host on syndicated television across the United States. He was just a fucking institution, putting white supremacist talking points into your family's bedroom on a nightly hour. Yeah, that was Tucker. And then all of a sudden, you know, disgraced and removed from Fox News for reasons that are not completely clear at this moment. But there's that whole thing. And then he's like, well, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to do my own show on X. Yes, the Twitter streaming platform, this decaying neo-Nazi platform. I now have my own show on Twitter, so that's what I'm going to do. And now I've got breaking stories they wouldn't let me tell you because, you know, the deep state was keeping my mouth shut. But hey, here's a guy who knows the taste of Obama's cum. What do you think? How was it? Ah, yes, I did taste Obama's cum. There you have it, everybody. Obama's gay, or at least bisexual, because this guy here says he has tasted his semen. So we know this, right? That was basically Tucker Carlson. Kevin Spacey. I'm sure a lot of people are probably going to run to be like, well, Kevin Spacey technically hasn't been charged, right? Or he hasn't actually effectively lost in court. He's making a comeback now. Maybe he was falsely accused, right? Also, keep in mind, Tucker Carlson does spend a large portion of his career consistently spreading conspiracy theories, whether they're like, you know, great replacement conspiracy theories, which are usually deeply in anti-Semitism, also white supremacist shit, and has also spread a lot of lies about LGBTQ plus people, and constantly, you know, reaffirming those tropes that they're groomers and pedophiles and stuff like that, and then brings on, of all people, Kevin Spacey to do this fucking bit.
Nothing should be off the table in life or in art. I think we could both agree that we need to get some adults back in the room, so if that means taking on the chief executive role, well, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for this great nation.
Adults in the room. I love it. I could see it as a bumper sticker. Is that your campaign slogan?
Well, that's not a bad idea. Look, I think first our country needs to stop apologizing and stiffen up. I mean, look,
it is safe to say that this bit would not have been possible like 5 years ago. There's just no world in which, you know, premium Kevin Spacey, star of House of Cards, hit Netflix TV show, and, like, you know, also actor in film, would suddenly be going on Tucker Carlson show to do a bit as Frank Underwood, the character from House of Cards.
Got so many people running around with so many different issues like gun control, important issue. But let's be honest. The truth is, more people are killed by online trolls every day.
That may be true, actually, but then they're protected by the First Amendment. They can say whatever they want. You believe in the First Amendment, I assume.
Of course I do. Look, people spewing ridiculous ideas is nothing.
Also, kind of amateur hour, Kevin, why do you keep looking at the camera? You're an incredibly talented actor, right? Like, if there's anything I can't take away from you is that you are a very, very good actor. But why did you know this whole thing's a bit. There's going to be a specific time when you do the whole, like... But you're kind of like doing that mid-sentence.
new, and they should always have that right. But the problem is, somewhere along the way, we started listening. And we should remember the salient words of Benjamin Franklin, who said, "Do not believe anything of what you hear and only half of what you see." And he wasn't telling people to stop talking, he was telling us to stop listening. So let's stop blaming bots and college kids and start telling leaders what leadership really means.
I love it.
You know what else is kind of fucked up? So every person who's quote unquote been canceled, and by canceled I mean like what's one of the biggest like examples of cancellation, right? Louis C.K. And then Louis C.K. is like, oh yes, he lost everything. He lost his TV show and he lost this animated series he was going to make for Netflix, and he's been canceled and blah blah blah. And was it really fair that he was canceled? I was like, yeah. I mean, if anything, it's kind of wild that he never faced any criminal charges. In many instances, forcing women to watch him masturbate against their will, locking them in rooms in some businesses, and again forcing them to watch him masturbate. That's sexual assault. So he was sexually assaulting people by definition. That's pretty fucking bad. I guess, yeah, we could start there. He wasn't canceled because of his jokes. This wasn't canceling comedians because of his spicy takes, or he's just like too subversive. He was telling that, no, it's because the dude was forcing women to watch him masturbate. That's really, really fucked up. And then, you know, a handful of years goes by, he releases another comedy special, wins a fucking Grammy. Like that's the cancellation of all time. But I did notice that when he came back, his specials suddenly were appealing a lot more to right-wing people. In fact, one of the latest Louis C.K. specials has like an enormous like fucking chunk of it all about the R-slur, just going off about the R-slur. It's like, whatever happened to that? You used to be able to call people the R-slur all the time, you know, just like the R-slur, this R-slur, blah blah blah. And he's obviously not using the R-slur; he's just saying it. And now Ricky Gervais, once again, comes back on Netflix, has another special, and all the, you know, the right-wing ecosystem is like all excited about it. No one else really cares. Everyone's like, yeah, like it's like when Dave Chappelle comes out, he's got another special coming out, right? It's like, yeah, Dave Chappelle's got a new special coming out. It's like, yeah, cool. Is he gonna make fun of trans people again? Oh, is Ricky making fun of trans people? He is. He can't help himself, that's for sure. But it's wild. He's actually talking about some other things he never used to talk about. Now Ricky Gervais is talking about how, you know, immigrants are bad. And you're like, oh, interesting. Yeah. And he's using the R-slur. Yeah. But he's subversive. He's clever. Did you not see the joke? Okay, so what Ricky Gervais does is he makes this really tasteless joke about dying children, and then, you know, he's like, blah, blah, blah. Why? Make-A-Wish Foundation asks me all the time to do it. I'm like, oh, and then I see this dying kid, and I was like, why didn't you wish to get better? And then the audience laughs because, oh my God, he's so horrible. How could you say such a thing? And then afterwards, he's like, yeah, are you also just like R-slur? And then like right afterwards, the audience is kind of like, whoa, can you say that? And then he's like, now, here's what I'm going to do, which is the coolest thing ever. The coolest thing any comedian can do. I'm going to explain to you why I'm funny and why I'm smart. Okay, so that's the next bit. So after that, you all had that. Okay, so some of you are shocked or whatever, but you don't realize how smart and clever and funny I am. Because I'm so smart and clever and funny, I would never use the R-slur. Yeah, and he says the word the R-slur at that point in the special. He's like, I would never use the R-slur in every single day speak, right? It's ableist, it's derogatory, it's dehumanizing. I would never do that. But what I'm doing right now is a character. See, right now I'm putting on my comedian hat, and as a comedian, it's really, really funny for me to say it and to put it out there and do it like that. But as a person, Ricky Gervais, would never do that because I think it's terrible and bad, and people shouldn't do that, right? But now you have to understand how smart and subversive and clever I am, and really funny as well, as I've explained this to you. And now you understand that, hey, that was me making jokes, and so it's okay. It's okay to make jokes. I was like, motherfucker, if you're so brave and edgy, why don't you do this exact same routine with the N-word then? Let's see it, Ricky. Let's see the exact. I mean, same point, right? He'd be like, no. I would never say the N-word. No. I understand. It's dehumanizing. It has a lot of history. It's horrifying. You know, the North Atlantic slave trade and just generation after generation of just brutal treatment of black people in America. I would never do that. But that wasn't me. That wasn't Ricky Gervais, the racist, the white supremacist. That was Ricky Gervais, the comedian. Yes, it's separate things. And if you were smart, like I am, you'd understand this. You dum-dums.
But how do you do that?
Well, this country is mired in so much contradiction and confusion. We don't even know how we can help anyone anymore because we can't agree who needs help. I mean, what doesn't come with a trigger warning these days? I mean, Tucker, we are far too close to having a beanbag chair in the Oval Office. We coddle to everybody. Okay, you think you're a rabbit, that's fine. But let me tell you something. You sure as hell aren't going to see someone walking through my White House in bunny ears and a tail unless it's Easter.
Well, amen. But how do you think we got here in the first place?
Fear. fear, and then some more fear. That's been the consistent theme, fear. And that's why I'm going to keep saying we need to get some adults back in the room.
Sounds like you're running. If you did run, I assume it would be as an independent.
Well, I've always been independent my whole life, no matter what my party affiliation, even though at the moment I don't quite recognize my old party.
So at what point would you get in if you did?
Well, I think there's time. I've never been afraid to show up a little late for the dance.
But lots of people want to be president. What would you specifically bring that others aren't?
Well, I think I have a long and very solid...
This is so boring. The right's always so boring. The banality of fascism sometimes, right? You know, like it's all just lulls. It's like, oh, what? The people are getting triggered by our sketch. It was a routine. He's playing a character. Frank Underwood, you know, well, technically for legal purposes, it's not Frank Underwood, but it's a similar character, not from House of Cards or owned by Netflix, but one being played by Kevin Spacey. And then we're using it to talk about culture war issues. Yeah, like trolls and Bud Light.
I think it's just good enough to sip some eggnog and decorate the tree and listen to White Christmas and embrace all the things that make this such a special day. The truth is, I love nothing better on this day than to do a line of blow, drink a whiskey and Coke, hit a reindeer with my car, and wish you all the naughtiest Christmas ever.
You know, you and I have something in common.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's sinking lower here. I don't know which one of the two. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Yeah. Is this good for Tucker Carlson or is this bad for Tucker Carlson? Is this good for Kevin Spacey or bad for Kevin Spacey? I don't know. You know, it's a bit.
Actually.
Oh, yes, we both got canned by our network.
True, but they actually tried to kill you.
Yes, but here we are, Tucker, bigger than ever.
So looking back on all the drama.
We both got canceled. Yep, it's true. But it's kind of like, you know, super famous rich white people don't get canceled. Also true. Also true. Yeah. Yeah, there's always a pathway, isn't there? Look at Russell Brand. Russell Brand did horrifying things, allegedly. You know, you could be a fucking nonce. And then afterwards, it's like, well, yeah, but as long as you go on Rumble, you see, you can just keep doing the exact. Oh, you actually, no, you didn't have to change anything. Oh, he's still, no, nothing happened at all. Oh, he lost like what, 2 sponsors? Okay, so HelloFresh doesn't want to fuck with him. Burger King. That's about it. But is he still on YouTube? Yep, still, all right. So, wow, yeah, okay.
Do you think that legacy media played a role in what happened to you?
Look, I think they're trying to do their best to stay relevant. Look, platforms like X, I mean, you move information around so quick that everybody else is just playing catch up. Legacy media is...
This is so cringe, doing fucking like promotion. I bet like Elon Musk and Babylon Bee thinks this is epic though, right? It's like, oh, that's crazy. He's talking about X, bro. What, he's going to talk about fucking NFTs next? He's going to drop some fucking slurm juice, start talking about how, oh, everybody should be invested in some of those Bored Apes. I swear to God, every single one will just increase dramatically in value. Just buy more and more of those. I mean, only true slurm juices. I can't even do the bit, but it's just too cringe.
Diligence has turned out to be they just cut and paste what some trusted outlet does. I mean, look, this will be a good example. Watch how they report on this conversation. There'll be 1 or 2 headlines that get repeated over and over and over. I think actually if legacy media wants to survive, they're going to have to start slowing down.
That's smart. I agree with that. By the way, do you watch Netflix anymore?
Probably as much as you watch Fox.
Fair.
But this is all a script. You're doing a bit. This whole thing is a bit.
No, that doesn't mean that you're gone though from Netflix. I don't even know if you're aware of this, but every time a person pulls up the Netflix app, you're there in some way. Have you seen this?
Yes, you know what that is? Boom, boom. So it is bizarre that they decided.
Did you invent that, Kevin Spacey? Were you the architect of that, or was it a script writer for your character? And then all of a sudden that as an original series blew up and it kind of gave credence to the idea that an internet streaming platform could have original content that people would want to consume, that could have something to do with it, you know, maybe.
To publicly cut ties with me on allegations alone, allegations that have now been proven false, because I don't think there's any question. Netflix exists because of me. I put them on the map and they tried to put me in the ground.
Do you think within Netflix and the leadership suites that your influence is still felt?
Well, according to your research, my influence is felt every time every customer opens the app. I'd say that's pretty powerful.
Oh, that's true. When are you getting back to work, by the way?
I don't know if you saw this, but there was a movie coming out, All the Money in the World, starring Kevin Spacey 6 years ago. That's one of the top billed cast, starring role, Kevin Spacey. And then, of course, all this came out, and then they decided to reshoot all the scenes with Kevin Spacey and replace him. Which, I mean, today maybe things would change. Maybe people would do it with AI or something else or something else. But it's pretty wild that like the trailer came out. Everyone was expecting a movie. He's like top billed cast again.
Mr. Getty, how much would you pay to release your grandson if not $17 million?
Nothing.
So does that mean this is like an episode or is it real?
Well, it's probably a little of both. I mean, Tucker, what's true, what's false? What's life, what's art? What's real, what's performance?
Good question. Let's take a look. Accuser dies by suicide one day after actor Kevin Spacey posts "Kill Them with Kindness" video. Ari Ben, who was once married to the Norwegian princess, claimed that Spacey groped him at a concert in 2007. Disgraced actor Kevin Spacey, who's been accused of sexual misconduct by more than a dozen men, released a video in which he said he would kill his enemies with kindness only a day before one of his accusers, Ari Ben, died by suicide. The video, which was posted Christmas Eve to Twitter, began with Spacey's tending to a fireplace while wearing a holiday sweatshirt. He appeared to be using a southern drawl, which distinguished one of his most famous characters, President Frank Underwood from House of Cards. "You really didn't think I was going to miss the opportunity to wish you Merry Christmas, did you? It's been a pretty good year so far. I'm grateful to have my health back," Spacey says in the footage. "And in light of that, I made some changes in my life, and I'd like to invite you to join me. As we walk into 2020, I want to cast my vote for more good in this world." He added, yes, I know what you're thinking. Can you be serious? I'm dead serious. And it's not hard, trust me. The next time someone does something you don't like, you can go on the attack. But you can also hold your fire and do the unexpected. You can kill them with kindness. After Spacey promised to kill them with kindness, the video played ominous music as the camera moved to a shot of him continuing to tend to his fireplace. After Spacey posted his video, Ari Ben, a Norwegian author, as well as ex-husband and Princess Martha Louise, who accused Spacey of groping him at the event in 2007, died by suicide on Christmas Day, according to The Hollywood Reporter. The alleged groping incident occurred at the Nobel Peace Prize concert when, according to Ben, he and Spacey sat right beside him. Kevin Spacey says, "Killed him with kindness," and another one of his accusers dies. Kevin Spacey shared a bizarre Christmas video saying, "Killed him with kindness," and the next day his accuser died. Now the third one this year. It has become a bizarre holiday tradition for Kevin Spacey to share a terrifying video on Christmas Eve with the voice of his former House of Cards character, Frank Underwood. For the second year in a row, Spacey hosted a video wishing his fans a Merry Christmas, but with this underlying message. This year's message: "Kill them with kindness," which is rather unfortunate timing considering now 3 of his accusers have died this year. Where are Kevin Spacey's accusers now? 3 have died this year alone. Spacey's first accuser was Anthony Rapp, who claimed Spacey made sexual advances towards him when he was 14. The first allegation came out in 2017, and since then a number of additional men have come forward to say that he sexually harassed or sexually assaulted them. The exact number of men is unknown, as was reported by many members of the House of Cards crew experienced harassment, but it was never disclosed how many or who endured this. Spacey was also an artistic director of the Old Vic London from 2004 to 2015. At least 20 men came forward to say that Spacey exhibited inappropriate behavior on predominantly young male staffers. Anthony wasn't actually the first person to make the allegations. While Anthony was considered to be the first blow of the whistle of Spacey's behavior, in actuality, another woman accused him of harassing young men. Linda Colkin was deemed Spacey's stalker and was even sentenced to prison for death threats sent to the actor and bomb threats sent to 2 of his workplaces. She also made allegations about his actions with young men. She was hit by a car in March and died in a hospital shortly after. No driver was charged for the incident. In September, another accuser died, though his name is unknown. The man, who was a massage therapist, was suing Spacey under the name of John Doe for sexual assault. Shortly before the trial began, he died. A source informed Variety that he passed away from cancer because of his marriage therapist's death. His case against Spacey was dismissed. A third accuser died on Christmas Day 2019. Ari Ben, the Norwegian author and ex-husband of Princess Martha Louise, accused actor Kevin Spacey of groping him at the Nobel Peace Prize concert in Oslo in 2007. The allegations came a decade after the incident. It would appear that Spacey may have terrible timing in terms of Christmas videos. Spacey is heard in the video saying, "The next time someone does something you don't like, you can go on the attack, but you can also hold your fire, do the unexpected, you can kill them with kindness," in a rather frightening Underwood portrayal. To have the brazenness to then go on your YouTube channel and release videos in character of the character from a show that you were taken off of because of the many accusations against you, it kind of seems like something that, Kevin Spacey's not alone in that. There's a lot of people that he's just prescient, not a murderer. No, I don't think Kevin Spacey is murdering all the people who are trying to testify or have accused him of either pedophilia, sexual harassment, or any of that kind of stuff. But it is very unusual for Tucker Carlson to then be like, well, here's an opportunity. I mean, you were cancel cultured, right? That's kind of just basically all I need. So why don't you come on the show and you can play your character? It'll be fun. You play Frank Underwood. I'll be Tucker Carlson. And then we can talk about how cool X is and online trolls and stuff like that, and do bits and talk about like how shitty Fox News is and how cool X is again. And it definitely won't be cringe. It's gonna be super fun.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Can you please hit the like and subscribe button and maybe leave a comment? It really does help the videos out. But first, the people who produce everything you see before you and make this entire channel possible: Amazing Fletch, Anna Loves Riley, Ariane McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Multimondi, Omni, Peanut Butter Blondie, Political Puppy, Quiet 185, Rachel K, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Ruby K, Cernicus, Spinach Monster, Stellar Vision, Sebastian DeMel, Trevbot.exe, Words Greenwood, and Travis McClinton. And also, thank you to every other person who helps fund this show. Their names are on the screen right now. It would not be possible without every single one of them. We cannot thank you enough. And if you want to join the Patreon, please come to patreon.com/theserfs and help us exist.